we got the first update video up, so that's good. So you've more than likely already seen that if you're watching this one. But if this is the first one that you found, well, hi, hello, welcome to my NaNoWriMo journey. You should watch the other one if you want to see how the first 4 days went. But as far as day 5 goes, I've spent a lot of time digging through previous drafts of this novel, trying to figure out kind of which parts of it I want to bring into this reflection thing, because there are some parts that fit and there are other parts that's like I read it and go, what was I thinking? Like, it is flaming piece of garbage, but we're making it. I mean, still getting a lot of good headway on word count. Like, effectively we are a day ahead right now, a little more than a day ahead, but as far as like word count goals go. As far as to whether or not it's any good, because I've thrown the whole structure of it to the wind, it's a struggle. But I did think of another aspect of it where it's like, oh, this could have been like a collection of things as opposed to it just being like one continuous, which kind of helps with some of it, because then I can date it with other things that kind of like push it out, and so we can kind of see how all that works. Already starting off strong, but we also need to start off strong by being in bed at a normal human hour, so that way we can be a fully functional one for work tomorrow. It's the fun parts of being an adult doing NaNoWriMo. It's needing to be a functional human being. I don't remember having to do that as much for college. Or I had already like learned different ways. I don't really remember, even though I've documented some of the things, because I don't know, depending on how long you have been following my YouTube journey, I created a end card that is specifically made out of NaNoWriMo documentation clips. So it only goes back to 2014 because that was when I really started. I think the only other time I maybe talked about NaNoWriMo on YouTube was 2012, and I didn't pull that one because I was looking for something that looked more kind of like what I have right now, even though, as I learned in looking at some of the ones that I pulled, I was not always consistent with the like, here's the date, here's how many words that I did today. Like, I was not very consistent with that format until like the last like few years. So glad I found my format. Well, first day, not breaking 1,000 words as far as like what's written for the day, but we're still ahead. So, I mean, things are fine. The words just didn't quite come to me. Like, the idea literally like showed up late, and now because I have to be a functional human being that, you know, does the responsible adult thing and show up to work on time, I'm going to bed. But so, you know, sometimes that's the hard part about, you know, life not being able to just stop because it's NaNoWriMo. I mean, like, come on, what is up with the world? Like, can you not just respect that it's NaNoWriMo? Totally kidding, but not really. I did have like kind of a shift in one of the quote timelines I was thinking of. It doesn't mean that I won't still have some that like lean a little bit more into one thing over the other, but it's opened up other opportunities, and I think that's kind of cool. So that's where we're at. Pretty solid night on the writing front. It took me a second, but we're good. One of the things that, like, with this being a rework of a novel is there's some things that, like, I wrote before that still work, and so that makes it easier, but because there's, like, it's certain concepts that still work, and so but you still have to rework them because it's more because of the format, because there are certain things that don't necessarily work in letter writing format, and I don't know if when I reread it after I let it sit and marinate in the existence, if it will actually work like I think it's working right now. I don't know how much of this is because it's 10 o'clock after I've been up for a long time, and I'm just kind of ready to go to bed because I have to do it again tomorrow. It's the fun parts of Nano. It's only day 7 and we're not quite to the loopy stage, but we're not far from it. There are so many other factors that like go into how all this works, but it's also a blast because my other novel that I've been working on for the last 2 years has a little bit more of like the writing process in it. There are certain things that as I'm like doing it, it's like, that would be a good thing for this novel. And I'm like, it doesn't work out very well. But I did get some things, but I have it in a section because as I was writing down, it's like, that's a bad idea. So, it's all of the fun of, I now have a section in my online notes area that is ideas that should probably just go straight to the trash, but they need to go somewhere other than my brain. But yeah, so, I mean, we've broken 14,000 words. We're not quite to 15 yet, but I mean, to be there and it's only day 7, I feel like things are going a little too well for me to sustain this for all 30 days. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, either I'm going to be so far ahead that when I actually like go to alumni reunion and then go to my family, like go spend time with my family for Thanksgiving, I will have enough cushion to where I could still potentially make it. Or this is just all going to crash and burn that week, which is on par for all 14 previous NaNoWriMos. So, decisions are hard. Being responsible is not always the best, but hey, we're just gonna try and take the wins where we have them. And right now the win is we've broken 14,000 words and it's only day 7. So we're just gonna revel in that for a second. We're gonna take a quick pause on all of the nano stuff for a book unboxing. So, what book could it possibly be? There are other things other than just the book. Ooh, lots of other things. I forget sometimes that Books A Million puts like other things in their box. Like, oh, this is different. It's a DoorDash thing, but it's specifically talking about groceries. Ooh, HelloFresh. Usually, I remember because I did a lot of book mail in college, and I always ended up with all of these wine vouchers. I remember giving them away to my brothers, but The book that we have, dear friends, is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, with the nice sprayed edges. Beautiful cover. Look. Oh, we're a little bent on the dust jacket, but everything is looking correct. I've seen a lot of videos about people getting things. Oh, we have a map on the inside. I honestly didn't inspect my copy of Fourth Wing all that much because I listened to the audiobook, and then I bought the book because I enjoyed it enough, so I needed it for my shelf. And so now we're just going for the series, and I will honestly more than likely listen to this because I don't really have time to sit and read, because my time that is used to sit and read is currently being used to write in between all of the other madness that is life. Maybe we'll do a video about Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Or maybe not. But you know I have it now, and you know that I've read it. But if you ever want to like keep up with what I'm doing reading wise, you can find me at Imagination Nerd on Storygraph. I think that I have both Storygraph and I have Goodreads. I've had Goodreads longer than I've had Storygraph, but that's also because Goodreads has been around longer than Storygraph has. One of the things I think that Storygraph does really well is it allows you to do the like increments instead of it being like, well, it either is a 1, 2, 3, or 4-star kind of read. Storygraph allows you to do that. Well, it's like it's not a 4, but it's definitely not a 3. So like, where's that middle ground? You know, I rated Fourth Wing, I want to say 4.5, because it wasn't a 5-star read. There were definitely things that like it took me a minute to like get into it, but once I got into it, like, dude, we were golden. So I'm curious to see if that is a similar experience with this or not. But that is enough taking up your time with my bookish mail. I have some writing to get to. It's 10 p.m. and I'm just now sitting down to write. That is the kind of day that today has been. So this is the fun part of life, and this is one of the reasons why I'm grateful that today is Friday and that I don't have to be up at the butt crack of dawn to do something tomorrow. Well, here we are, end of another week of NaNoWriMo. It is almost 11 p.m. on the 11th of November. And I say I've been doing pretty good of trying to keep close to par. There was a period of time that I was like consistently above, like almost to the next day's par, which was a cool experience. It's not something I've done a lot of in the past 14, with this being 15 NaNoWriMos. The shift that the novel is taking, I like it. I'm a fan of it. And it's been fun, like, looking back at the stuff that I've written for this novel before and figuring out ways. It's like, okay, so how would that look like? Like, how would you talk about this as you're reflecting on it? This has been a cool experience. Sometimes weird, as certain things just kind of pop up that you weren't necessarily thinking that they were going to, but here they are, showing their ugly little heads or pretty little heads, depending on what it is exactly. But we haven't quite broken 20 yet, but we're not far. It'll happen. And I feel like we will be in a very good spot before the week where everything goes to crap. And that's just the way life works. I mean, in all honesty, I wasn't exactly confident I was going to get to write yesterday. But we made it possible. and we still got words on the page. That's always the goal for me, is just trying to get words on the page every single day. But it would be really, really cool if I hit 50K in 30 days. I'd be so stinking proud of myself, dude. I wouldn't rush as far as to like, oh, we're gonna go get it published, because it's not pretty at all. It is a giant dumpster fire right now. If for no other reason than if I were to go and get it like published as is, it would make 0 sense. You would have to pull it apart and figure out how it goes together, because it does not flow. It is not written in chronological order, and Word documents make it harder to shuffle things around. So it'll be delightful to get it sorted out. But that is where we are. This is what week 2 of NaNoWriMo 2023 has looked like. I hope you have enjoyed some of the fun that has been shown on screen. But that is it for me. I will see you next video. Bye.